Sorry. Just not sure why that happened. Ngāta Māori, welcome. Welcome to my home and to some yoga practice at this unusually different and complicated time. I had a hiccup with the settings. They've changed how to do live, and the 9:30 group, I'm sorry, got streamed to my family. I've uploaded it now, I think. So, a time for practice. I am going to put a link up on YouTube today. I will shift these videos over to my regular yoga page. I thought this was just a temporary option, but I'm going to continue offering these for at least the next month. The ones I offer on YouTube will be a bit different, a variety for people to choose from. So for your practice, you might like to maybe use a towel. If you haven't got a mat, you can use a towel to define your space. Finding a place where you feel comfortable. Perhaps choosing to close the door or have the door open. It's up to you. What I am aware is there's some children next door who are playing on their trampoline recently, so just in the last half hour, so you might hear some squeals of delight. That's where that's coming from, if it happens. Otherwise, we're here in this space, and you're welcome to practice yoga with me. So if you like taking a look around, maybe noticing where you are in your space, perhaps looking behind you or to the side. Noticing where you're located in the space. If you like, taking a breath. And in your own time, maybe bringing your awareness to notice where you make contact with the ground, the surface beneath you. One way could be to look. Another way could be to use your hand to notice where you begin and end. But of course, another option could be to move. And if you're moving, you might notice a change in pressure where you make contact with the ground. It's only a possibility. We don't always feel sensation. In fact, it's quite normal not to notice sensation. Do you know all these forms can be done on the mat, lying, standing, or seated on a chair, and I'll move between both. When you're ready, you might like to find your way back to your neutral, perhaps sitting up tall and breathing. Maybe noticing your breath is with you. Perhaps noticing that you're breathing. Then, if you like, bringing your awareness to movement in your shoulders. So maybe moving your shoulders. You're welcome to move whatever way you like, perhaps lifting or lowering, maybe moving in circles. So Perhaps moving your shoulders in circles. And breathing. Another option could be to bring your fingertips to your shoulders, maybe moving your elbows. If you are moving your shoulders, you might feel sensation, you might not. It's okay. So maybe moving your shoulders and breathing. Finding your way back to neutral in your own time. And if you like, bringing your awareness to move your head and neck. So one option could be to drop your ear towards your shoulder. And in your own time, maybe moving your head through midline, bringing your ear to rest on your other shoulder. Lifting your head through midline and moving your ear to your other shoulder. That's one option for moving your head and neck. Another option could be lifting and lowering your chin. So maybe moving your chin vertically and breathing. And if you're moving your chin, there's a possibility that you may feel sensation in your neck. So perhaps moving your chin and breathing. Guiding yourself back to your neutral in your own time. And knowing that you don't have to do what I say. If you would like to move to resting at any time or explore other forms, you're welcome to do that. If you want to explore cats and cows, you could do this seated, maybe by lifting your front torso, perhaps lifting your chin and looking up. And then in your own time, maybe curling your spine, tucking your chin and looking down. If you wanted to explore this on all fours, maybe bringing your awareness to notice where you place your hands, maybe where you place your knees. Perhaps dipping your chin, dipping your spine, lifting your chin and looking up. That's one movement. And in your own rhythm, maybe curling your spine, tucking your chin and looking down. So those two movements you're welcome to put together in your own rhythm. Maybe looking up, perhaps looking down, and breathing. If you like, you could coordinate your breathing with your movement. So maybe breathing in as you move in one direction, then breathing out as you move in the other direction. Perhaps breathing and moving. And in your own time, maybe moving into a resting form, perhaps sitting back on your ankles, maybe resting your forehead on your hands and breathing. If you're seated either in a chair or on your mat, maybe bringing your elbows to your knees, perhaps resting your forehead on your hands. And you're always welcome to move in a resting form. You're welcome to move at any time. If you like, bringing your awareness to notice that your breath is with you. It ebbs and flows, comes and goes, and it's always there. So next, if you're interested, maybe moving to explore a lunge. So if you're on your mat, perhaps stepping 1 foot forward. You're welcome to move, arranging your hands in whatever way works for you. If you're on a chair, maybe moving to the side of your chair, perhaps dropping your knee, and arranging your arms in a way that's useful for you. Anytime, you're welcome to switch, maybe dropping your knee or stepping your foot forward, arranging your arms in a way that's useful for you, and breathing. Possibly feeling sensation in your legs, maybe feeling nothing at all, and breathing. So perhaps exploring your lunge, maybe moving, and finding your way to resting in your own time, perhaps resting your elbows on your knees and your forehead on your hands. Or if you're on your mat, sitting back on your ankles, maybe resting your forehead on your hands. And breathing. If you like, bringing your awareness to notice the sensation of your breath. So next, if you like, perhaps experimenting with lifting and lowering your legs or arms. So I offer this on a chair first. So maybe lifting and lowering your leg, perhaps lifting and lowering your arm, or maybe lifting and lowering both. If you're on your mat, maybe bringing your awareness to notice where you place your hands, knees, and if you like, lifting and lowering your leg. Perhaps lifting and lowering your arm. If it's available, maybe lifting and lowering your leg and arm. So it's a choice. You get to choose how you want to move. You might feel sensation in your arms, maybe your legs, or possibly not at all. Finding your way back to a neutral in your own time. Maybe sitting back on your ankles, perhaps resting your forehead on your hands and breathing. You might notice your breath is with you. Ebbs and flows, comes and goes, and it's always there. I'm going to offer a toe stretch next. So if you're on your mat, maybe moving to all fours, perhaps tucking your toes. And in your own time, maybe moving your hands back towards your knees, maybe coming to sit on your ankles and breathing. Anytime moving in and out of the form, maybe stressing your toes. And if you're on a chair or seated, what you may like to do is raise your ankles and perhaps pressing your toes into the ground. Maybe straighten your toes and breathing. Moving in and out of the form. Maybe feeling sensation in your toes, perhaps feeling nothing at all. And finding your way back to your neutral in your own time. So maybe sitting back on your ankles, perhaps resting your forehead in your hands, or possibly bringing your elbows to your knees and resting your forehead in your hands. And breathing. Noticing your breath is with you. Comes and goes, ebbs and flows, and it's always there. Knowing you're always welcome to move in the form. And then if you're interested in exploring your downward dog, maybe extending your legs and perhaps raising your arms. You can lift and lower at any time. If you wanted to explore this from your mat, you might like to bring your awareness to notice where you place your hands and knees, maybe moving. If you like, tucking your toes. Maybe lifting and lowering your knees. So that's a choice. Or if it's available, maybe lifting and lowering your torso. If you wish, you might lift and lower your heels. So maybe exploring your downward dog, maybe lifting and lowering your torso, maybe lifting and lowering your knee. So you get to choose how you want to move. Perhaps exploring your downward dog and breathing. Finding your way back to resting in your own time. If you like, bring your awareness to notice that you're breathing. And if you like, maybe noticing the sensation of your breath. Is it fast or slow, deep or shallow, bumpy or smooth? Just checking, what does your breath feel like? Knowing there's no need to change your breath. Your body breathes in the way you need to breathe. So perhaps resting, maybe moving. Perhaps bringing your awareness to notice where you make contact with the ground. Then if you like, exploring a leaning forward. I never quite know how to say this one. So maybe bringing your weight to your hands. So you might like to move to all fours, maybe bringing your hands in front of you. And if you like, bringing your weight to your hands, maybe looking up. And in your own time, bringing your torso back to your ankles. So maybe moving forward and back. And if you like, coordinating your breathing in your own rhythm, maybe breathing in as you move in one direction, perhaps breathing out as you move in the other direction. If you're on your chair, What you may like to do is bring your hands to your knees and maybe raising your arms and looking up. Bringing your hands to your knees, maybe raising your arms and looking up. And if you wanted to coordinate your breathing with that movement, you're welcome to do that. Maybe hands to knees, maybe raising your arms. And finding your way back to your neutral in your own time. So maybe exploring moving forward and back, perhaps moving into resting in your own time and breathing. Maybe resting your elbows on your knees, maybe sitting back on your ankles, perhaps resting your forehead on your hands. Then in your own time, maybe finding your way to standing, perhaps finding your expression of seated or standing mountain. If you like, moving your feet, maybe looking at your feet, perhaps bringing your awareness to notice where you make contact with the ground. Maybe moving your feet. If you're interested, perhaps softening your knees. Maybe bringing your torso in line with your ankles. If you're seated, perhaps sitting up tall. If you're standing, maybe bringing your shoulders in line with your ankles. And then taking a breath. Perhaps bringing your head, maybe moving your head, bringing your head to balance on your shoulders. In your expression of standing or seated mountain. If you like, bring your awareness to noticing this form, standing or seated mountain. Perhaps noticing what it's like to be in relative stillness and breathing. If you do notice that you're breathing and you can feel that in your body, maybe taking your hand there. It could be anywhere. If you like, you could take your hand close to your face and you might feel the sensation of your breath on your hand. It's a possibility. So perhaps bringing your awareness to notice that you're breathing. And if you like, moving your arms, knowing how you move your arms is up to you. Maybe lifting and lowering. Maybe bringing hands to touch above your head. It's another option. So if you like, moving your arms. If you wanted, or if you like, you could coordinate your breathing with your movement. Maybe breathing in as you move in one direction and breathing out as you move in another direction. So perhaps breathing and moving. If you're moving your arms, you might feel sensation in your arms. Finding your way back to neutral in your own time. Your expression of standing or seated mountain. And if you like, moving to explore folding forward. So one way of folding forward could be to bring your hands to your upper legs. So that could be folding forward. Or maybe your elbows to your knees, possibly tucking your chin. Maybe moving your legs. If you're seated, what you may like to do is bring your hands to your knees, maybe tucking your chin. If it's available, maybe bringing your hands closer to your feet. So if you like, exploring leaning forward, knowing that at any time you can move in and out of your forward fold. So maybe exploring leaning forward and breathing. Perhaps noticing your breath is with you. Finding your way back to upright in your own time. And if you like, moving to cross your elbows. Perhaps bringing your hands to your shoulders and breathing. If your hands are on your shoulders, you may feel the sensation where your hands make contact with your shoulders. If you're interested, you could experiment with moving your chin. These are choices. You get to choose how you want to move. Then if you like, maybe loosening your arms and perhaps crossing your arms in the opposite direction. Perhaps bringing your hands to your shoulders and breathing. You might feel sensation where your hands make contact with your shoulders. That's a possibility. And do know there's no requirement to feel sensation where I say. Always possible to feel sensation other places or not at all. So perhaps crossing your arms and breathing. In your own time, maybe loosening your arms, like giving them a bit of a shake. Perhaps bringing your hands into your line of vision. Maybe looking at your hands. Maybe moving your hands. If you're interested, you could bring one hand in contact with your other hand. You may feel the sensation of where your hands make contact, but you may feel nothing at all, and that's quite normal. So perhaps looking at your hands and breathing. And finding your way back to your expression of standing or seated mountain. Maybe lengthening your spine, maybe moving your head to balance on your shoulders, finding your expression of standing or seated mountain, and breathing. And if you like, moving to explore leaning to your side. So one option could be dropping your arms. Another option would be raising one arm and leaning to your side. A third option could be raising both arms and leaning to your sides. So maybe leaning to your side and breathing. You might feel sensation in the side of your torso, maybe in your ribs. Perhaps leaning to your side and breathing. And in your own time, finding your way back to your expression of standing or seated mountain. Maybe taking a breath. And then if you like, moving to explore a standing or seated balance form. So if you're seated, what you may like to do is perhaps bring your hands to your knees. And if you like, pressing one foot into the ground and lifting your other foot, you might feel sensation under your hands. It's a possibility. So maybe pressing one foot into the ground, maybe lifting one foot. And if you're standing, you're always welcome to have a chair for support, and you may like to shift your weight into one of your legs. So maybe straightening your leg, perhaps shifting the weight into your leg, and then if you like, lifting your heel off the ground, maybe your foot, or perhaps bringing the sole of your foot to the side of your leg and breathing. At any time you can lift and lower. And sometimes it's quite normal to wobble, but sometimes it's helpful to find a spot on the wall. So maybe finding a spot on the wall, perhaps pressing one foot into the ground, maybe lifting and lowering and breathing. And if you are pressing one foot into the ground, you may feel sensation in that leg. And when you're ready in your own time, maybe switching, so perhaps bringing both feet to the ground, maybe straightening one of your legs, perhaps shifting your weight into that leg, and if you like, lifting your heel, the other heel off the ground. Maybe lifting and lowering your foot, perhaps bringing the sole of your foot to the side of your leg. So maybe pressing one foot into the ground and breathing. Noticing your breath is with you. Now you're always welcome to use a chair for support. Maybe feeling sensation in your leg. Guiding yourself back to both feet on the ground in your own time. Finding your expression of standing or seated mountain. And if you want to move to explore warrior one. If you're standing, perhaps bring your toes to the front of your mat. And if you like, bring your awareness to notice where you place your feet. In your own time, maybe stepping back with one foot, perhaps moving, maybe arranging your hands at your side, your torso, or out in front. The choice is yours. So maybe exploring warrior one. If you are seated, what you may like to do is move to the side of your chair, maybe holding your chair, perhaps extending one foot behind you, arranging your hands in a way that's useful for you, maybe out in front, maybe at your side, and breathing. So perhaps exploring your warrior one. And if you like, being guided by your body, perhaps moving to explore this on the other side. So if you're standing, perhaps stepping back with your opposite foot. Maybe moving, arranging your arms in a way that's useful for you. And breathing. Finding your way back to upright in your own time. And if you like, moving to warrior two. So I'll offer the standing and then seated, So maybe bringing your toes to face the long edge of your mat. And if you like, turning one foot to face the short edge of the mat. Now this might be your warrior two. You can arrange your arms in whatever way you like. Maybe raising your arms, or perhaps bringing your elbow to your forward facing knee. Maybe bringing one hand over. These are your choices. Finding your warrior two. If you're seated, what you may like to do is bring your feet together, maybe stepping your feet apart, and perhaps turning one foot, your toes away from your body. Maybe raising your arms, or perhaps leaning forward with your elbow on your forward facing knee. So finding your expression of warrior two and breathing. And in your own time, maybe stepping both feet together, perhaps stepping one foot to face the short edge of your mat. If you like, raising your arms, maybe leaning forward and breathing, finding your expression of warrior two. You're welcome to move in the form. And in your own time, guiding yourself back to upright, to your standing or seated mountain. And perhaps taking a breath. So next I'm going to offer half moon. If you're seated, perhaps raising your arms and maybe experimenting with lifting and lowering your leg. How much you raise your arm or arms is up to you. If you're standing, you might like to use a chair. Perhaps bring your hands to the back of your chair. If you like walking away and folding forward. And in your own time, maybe lifting and lowering your leg. So how much you lift and lower is up to you. Oops. Wobble there. So maybe lifting and lowering your leg and breathing. Today I'm going to lift and lower my heels. My body needs to be closer to the ground, I think. And finding your way back to upright. You may like to experiment with bending your knees. So if you're seated, maybe bending your knees. Or bending your knees, maybe bending both knees or one knee. If you're standing, maybe bending your knees, knowing how much you bend is up to you. You're allowed your heels off the ground, you're allowed your heels on the ground. You're allowed to bend however you like. And if it's available to you, maybe squatting. So perhaps squatting and breathing. If you like bending your knees, maybe squatting, and in your own time, maybe finding your way to seated, perhaps seated on your mat. Finding your expression of seated mountain. You may like to cross your feet or have your feet extended. It's up to you. If you are crossing your legs, sometimes it's helpful to switch. For me it is. I always habitually cross my legs in the same way. So if you wanted to explore a twist, perhaps sitting up tall. If you like, bringing your chin to your shoulder. So that may be a twist that works for you. If you like, bringing your hand to your opposite knee and one hand behind you and sitting up tall. If it's available, you may like to twist further. Maybe experimenting with how much is right for you. So twisting and breathing. Anytime, you're welcome to move back to your center. Perhaps sit up tall, maybe bringing your chin to your shoulder, perhaps your hand to your opposite knee and one hand behind you, and sitting up tall. And breathing, maybe twisting. So you're welcome to switch. You might feel some sensation in your abdomen. You might feel nothing at all. So perhaps twisting. And breathing. If you're interested, maybe noticing what it's like to take a deeper breath in this form. Finding your way back to your neutral. And then if you like, moving to explore leaning forward or back, or maybe both. So one way of leaning forward could be to bring your hands to your knees, tucking your chin, maybe leaning forward, perhaps bringing your hands to your mat and breathing. So if you like, leaning forward and breathing. Perhaps tucking your chin. In your own time, maybe moving back to neutral, perhaps bringing your hands behind you, maybe leaning back. So you could choose to move between the two forms, or maybe stay forward or back. It's your choice. This is your practice. You might notice that you're breathing. And then in your own time, finding your way back to upright. And if you like, moving onto your abdomen to explore some forms on the floor. So if you're seated, what you may like to do, either on your chair or the mat, maybe extending your legs, perhaps bending your elbows and raising your arms, maybe lifting and lowering, possibly feeling some sensation through your torso. If you're on your mat, maybe bringing your elbows under your shoulders and perhaps bringing your hands to rest on your mat. And you could choose to look up or down. You can choose where you want to look. If you like, bringing your awareness to notice the sensation of your breath. Or maybe where you make contact with the ground. Perhaps noticing that your breath is with you. It ebbs and flows, comes and goes, and it's always there. And in your own time, maybe bringing your forehead to rest on your hands, and breathing. You might feel the sensation of your breath where you make contact with the ground. That's a possibility. So if you would like, you're welcome to experiment with lifting and lowering your foot or your leg. Maybe moving your foot or perhaps moving your leg. If you're moving your leg, you might notice a change when you make contact with the ground. And then in your own time, maybe using your hands to move back into what we sometimes call child form, maybe sitting back on your ankles, perhaps resting your forehead on your hands, and breathing. If you're seated, you might like to bring your elbows to your knees and perhaps rest your forehead in your hands, and breathing. You're welcome to move in whatever form you're in. So perhaps resting in child form, maybe bringing your elbows to your knees and resting your forehead on your hands and breathing. Noticing your breath is always with you. It ebbs and flows, comes and goes, and it is always there. So next, I'd like to offer some forms on the mat. So if you like to move onto your back, you're welcome to do that. If you're on your chair or seated, maybe experimenting with moving your knees. So you can move your knees together or individually. So perhaps moving your knees, even move them forward and back. If you're on your mat, you may like to bring your feet close to your torso, perhaps extending your arms. And if you like, maybe moving your knees to rest on one side, maybe moving your knees to rest on your side, and if you like, looking in the opposite direction and breathing. So maybe resting your knees on your side. In your own time, maybe lifting your knees through midline, perhaps bringing your knees to rest on your other side, and if you like, looking in the opposite direction. You might feel some sensation through the side of your torso. You might not, and that's quite normal. So maybe moving your knees through midline and perhaps bringing your knees to rest on your other side, looking in the opposite direction. So another option could be bringing your feet close to your torso and moving your knees from one side of your mat to the other side of your mat. So perhaps moving your knees from one side of your mat to the other side. Or perhaps lifting your knees off the ground, your feet. Maybe lifting your feet off the ground and bringing your hands around your knees and moving your knees. And if you are moving your knees, there's a possibility that you might feel a change in pressure change in sensation where you make contact with the ground. It's a possibility. So maybe moving your knees and breathing. Finding your way back to neutral in your own time. And then if you like, maybe exploring a half bridge. So I'll offer this on your chair and then on the mat. If you're on your chair, you may like to sit forward in your chair, maybe pressing your feet into the ground and then raising your arms. Maybe pressing your feet into the ground and raising your arms. If you're on your mat, maybe bringing your feet close to your torso. If you like pressing your feet into the ground, maybe lifting your spine, maybe lifting your arms. Anytime you can lift and lower. So perhaps pressing your feet into the ground, maybe lifting your arms, perhaps lifting and lowering. You might feel sensation in your abdomen, maybe your legs, or possibly not at all. So perhaps lifting and lowering, possibly pressing your feet into the ground. And the last form, I'm going to offer a choice of toe. The first one, and mainly because these are said to be useful forms for stimulating our lymphatic system, which gets rid of toxins and bugs. So one could be bringing your feet up the wall, so maybe lying on your side, perhaps bringing your feet up the wall, or just a wriggle here, or maybe your feet on a chair. That's another option. So legs up the wall or legs on the chair, if you want to try that now. Or the other choice is moving your toes. So if you're seated in a chair or on the mat, maybe experimenting with lifting and lowering your toes. If you're on your mat, maybe lifting and lowering your toes. And as you do that, you may have a sensation of your body moving. Always knowing that you don't have to do what I say at any time. You can move into another form. So maybe moving your toes and breathing. So that brings us almost to the end of our practice today. When you're ready, you might like to find a resting form. That works for you. It could be lying down, it could be legs up the wall, seated, or any other variation. So in your own time, maybe taking a breath. And as you breathe out, you might like to bring your awareness to notice where you make contact with the ground. Maybe looking, perhaps moving. As your breath comes again, Perhaps bringing your awareness to notice the support of the surface beneath you. I'm going to offer a brief body scan exercise. You're welcome to tune my voice out. If you want to follow it, you may like to take your mind to the part I name, or your hand, or maybe moving that part. So you are allowed to move in resting form. So if you like, bring your awareness to notice sensation at your eyebrow center. Maybe sensation at the tip of your nose. Perhaps sensation in your jaw. Maybe moving your jaw. Sensation in your neck. Maybe sensation in the whole of your right arm. Sensation in your neck. Perhaps sensation in the whole of your left arm. Sensation in your neck. Sensation in your heart center. Sensation in your right ribs. Sensation in your heart center. Sensation in your left ribs. Sensation in your heart center. Sensation in your abdomen. Sensation in the whole of your right leg. Sensation in your lower abdomen. Sensation in the whole of your left leg. Sensation in your lower abdomen. Sensation in your abdomen. Sensation in your heart center. Sensation in your neck. Sensation in your jaw, maybe moving your jaw. Sensation at the tip of your nose. Sensation in your eyebrow center. Sensation at your eyebrow center. Sensation in your entire body, the whole of your body, all of your body. Sensation in all of your body all together. I'm going to offer some silence, and then I'll ring the chime for an opportunity for you to close your practice. So there's no hurry to move. When you do want to move, maybe wriggling your fingers and toes, maybe resting on your side. If you like, taking a moment to acknowledge your practice, your purpose, your intention to be here. Perhaps it was to nurture yourself, or maybe connect with yourself. So if you like, taking a moment to acknowledge your practice. I would like to thank you for coming into my home and practicing with me. Take care in your bubble. Feel free to access the videos whenever you want. I will be sending an email out with the YouTube link and the new Facebook link, maybe tomorrow, if not sooner. If you want to give me feedback, you're welcome to do that. I'm conscious of the lighting and whether that might not be particularly helpful, whether I need curtains closed or whatever. So do feel free to give me feedback and take care of you and your loved ones. A heart goes out to you. Ka kite anō.